So, that was a run through of Buddy Holly by Weezer. What I did in that take was I split the two guitar parts into the first verse and chorus run through. I played the kind of first guitar part, and then in the second verse I played the second guitar part. I've also played the whole thing in standard tuning instead of playing it in in E flat, just because I find it easier to not have to retune my guitar, and I think a lot of people out there are probably playing in standard tuning, and this is a way that you can play it that sounds pretty similar to the actual song, but with a few little cheats, just to not have to tune your entire guitar down half a step. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you the parts, but I'm also going to discuss the theory behind the chords that they used and the melodies. Some people don't really care about that, and that's totally fine. Personally, I think it's important to look at the songs that you're learning and think about how they came about writing it and where the theory behind the song came from. Even if the people writing it don't really know their theory, it's still cool to be able to analyze it so that you can use some of the ideas from other people's songs in your songs. If you hear something and you really like a chord progression, you can understand how to put that into your own music. So I break this song down into 4 main rhythm sections and then the solo. So you've got your verse, your pre-chorus, your chorus, and then your main riff. The whole song is in A flat, which puts us here at the 4th fret on the E string. Now, in the key of A flat, we basically have 7 chords. We have A flat, B flat minor, C minor, D flat major, E flat major, F minor, G diminished, back to A flat. Each one of those chords has a number associated, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1, and that's how I'm going to kind of analyze the chord progression. When I'm talking about the melody, I may talk about modes and things. You don't really have to know that, but if it does intrigue you, maybe go out there and have a look at some modes and try and get into that stuff, because it can help you playing a lot. So, first section here, we've got chord 6, which is an F. Now we're going to up to what you might think is like a chord 7 into chord 1. Technically speaking, it's actually an E flat chord with a G in the bass, which makes it a chord 5 with a 7th note of the scale in the bass, or just an E flat inversion chord into our 1 chord, which is A flat. Pretty simple. That part, which is I think is actually a synth part, is just the major third of the key signature and the 4th. That plays again. And then we have this kind of step up chord 2. Then we've got that same type of thing we had on the E flat and the G, where we're using a C, which you might think is chord 3, but with an A flat on the top, which is actually an A flat major inversion as well. So we're going kind of B flat, A flat with a C in the bass, into D flat, which is chord 4. And this is where the pre-chorus starts. So the pre-chorus, we've got D flat to chord 3, which is C5, to chord 6, which is F. D flat, C. Then we have this kind of build up into the chorus, which is just D flat. And that harmony over the top that makes it sound really pretty, going really major to minor, is just turning your 4 chord from a major 4 chord into a minor 4 chord. They actually do that by splitting the guitar parts up though. So one guitarist just stays on the D flat, while the other guitarist takes the major 3rd and the 5th, and takes that major 3rd, makes it a minor 3rd, keeps the 5th over the top of that chord. So we get kind of sound together. Chorus is really simple. You've got chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. The only interesting thing here is how they play chord 4 and chord 5. So instead of playing a power chord with just 2 notes or 3 notes like that, we actually get the 5th in the bass. So you're playing a D flat power chord, but you're putting an A flat in the bass, which gives you a really chunky low end, which if you listen to the track you can definitely hear. Same on the E flat. So when you're moving from A flat to D flat, you're only actually taking your 3rd finger off, or if you're going just 2 notes at a time, you're just moving your pinky down. And then we've got chord 6, D flat, E flat, A flat, which is 4, 5, 1. Then 1, 4, 5, 1. 4, 5, 1. Then our main melody, which you could play it anywhere on the neck. I tend to play it in the position of the relative minor, which is the F minor. And that's one of the more interesting things about this song, is that melody. I mean, a lot of the times when we're playing pop songs and rock songs, the melody is pentatonic. Or if it's not pentatonic, it's pretty close to being pentatonic, with maybe a note here or there that's outside. This melody is really adding the tension with its notes. You've got straight away that flat flat 6 on your F minor kind of chord. And then you've got the 9 back to the tonic. Straight away makes that F chord far more interesting. Then we're just going back up into the A flat, which is just a straight triad over the chord. The second time through is all the same. The only difference is the synth part over the top of the verse, instead of going from the major third to the fourth, it goes from the major third to the major 7 of the A flat. So you get the major third of the A flat to the major 7. Gives that kind of Western sound. Everything from there is the same. You play pre-chorus to the chorus the same. The only difference is the chorus has a tag on it, so you're doing the ending twice. Now in the actual song, they're in E flat and they're going. But because I'm in A flat, what I've done is taken those notes, chucked them up an octave, and I've also placed the 5th underneath every note to thicken it up. So if I played it without the 5th in there, it would sound like this. Which is totally fine and cool. You could do that. Or you can add the 5th in to get a chunkier sound. Other option here, if you wanted to get more low notes in there, is to just play the E flat and maybe that first F up the octave. Or tune your guitar down a half step and play it at the 5th fret. You get the open note. This riff part is cool because it leads into the solo. So the way I do this is by playing my A flat major pentatonic run, and then I'm playing from that F. Now you can look at this as basically I'm moving into my F minor scale, which is the relative minor, from the 5th string, and using that as a basis to play the solo. So I run into it. Now I'm in my F minor scale from the 5th string, and I'm going to bend to the 9th of that F, and then coming down the scale. And again, you could play these notes in lots of different places. There, I tend to play it on the 6th fret of the D string. Then I'm just playing an F minor run up in octaves. So F, G, A flat, B flat, or 8, 10, 11, 13 as octaves, where we've got first finger, pinky finger, and then we've got our guard fingers. This is a hard technique for people to get at first. Basically what you want to make sure you're doing is allowing the natural shape of your first and pinky finger to point forward while keeping your other fingers straight. And then we're in perfect position for our F minor at the 13th fret. Thinking F minor pentatonic. I tend to use my 3rd finger because it keeps my 1st finger. Last part's really simple, pentatonic run from the A string up. And then the coolest part of probably the whole song, and this is where the theory part is cool to learn, is this last run. Is nailing that minor 4 chord on the D flat. And scale wise, you can think of it as just still an A flat major scale with that minor note coming in to the to the 5th of the A flat. The other scale thing here is when you get that minor 4 sound, the actual scale being used is a melodic minor scale. And people don't really think there's much melodic minor in contemporary music, but there's a hell of a lot of it, especially on that minor 4 sound. And that's basically it. Then you got the chorus, and the only difference here at the end is that the chorus has it finishes with the riff. And that's it. Cool. If you liked this run through, or you'd like to see me do another song, or you'd like to see me change it up somehow, or try some different stuff, let me know in the comments. Hope this made some of the workings behind Buddy Holly clear to you. Cheers. Take it easy.